Alright, everyone. I'm in this video. I'm gonna explain to you how to remove yourself from the sales process without losing any cash flow. And to be able to do that, there are 4 steps you have to go through. And I'm making this video first of all for people that are doing between 0 and 500k per month. People that are tired of being stuck inside of the sales process themselves, or feel like they need a better overview of their business but can't do it without stepping out of the sales process. If you are afraid of losing your cash flow when you step out of the sales process, or if you tried building a sales team or putting clothes in the right place, but you keep losing them. That's so annoying. When you've spent a couple of months of working on someone and helping them get better at sales, and then they're like, hey, ciao. Definitely this one is for you as well. Or when you have such a complicated offer or offer rings that you're like, I'm the only one ever that's able to sell this, then this video is as well as for you. So let's dive into it. It has 4 stages. The first stage is having an infinite selling system. The second stage is getting your first closers. The third stage is choosing your start player. And the fourth stage is having a sales manager to be able to step out of it completely. So let's dive into the first stage, having an infinite selling system. This means that you have a scalable and repeatable and consistent way of selling your product or service. So that comes down that strangers will turn into prospects and buy your service from the same source and through the same process an infinite amount of times. So it just keeps going. There is no end to it. Literally infinite times. So, let's dive into it. It has 2 components to it, A and B. And the first component is A. And this is a repeatable... One sec. Alright, it had to update a little bit. But so it's a repeatable, consistent, and scalable way of getting strangers into prospects or gain interest. So it has to be the same process over and over and over and over and over again. And they're coming from the same source over and over and over and over again. And you're able to turn them into qualified or at least interested prospects. So prospects are people that are interested in your service, of course. And the last thing that's very important is that you have the input is the same as the output. So that means that if you have, for example, using outbound marketing, you have 2 setters that are generating 20 appointments per month. Now you will double the amount of setters. So having 4 appointment setters, big chance that you're going to generate 40 appointments a month. Should be pretty low, but just an example. So the input equals the output. So it's infinite. So you can keep pull down a lever and poof, you have more appointments. So that's A. B is having a repeatable, consistent, and scalable way of converting these prospects or this interest into sales. Throughout the same framework, the same offer, converting the same from the same source through the same framework towards the same offer, having an infinite amount of times you're able to do that. So, for example, a framework can be either the call framework that you use in the sales calls. I mean, I've seen so many people, and including myself at the beginning, that are just having some talk with anyone, but it's not repeatable. It might work for you as a business owner for right now, but if you want to repeat it or outsource it to someone, you won't be able to. So that's the reason why you need to have the right framework in order for you to make it repeatable and scalable, of course. The other one is having one offer. So honestly, like going from 0 to 1 million a year, you just need one source of leads and one offer that you can sell. I've seen so many, and I've sold so many different offers for one coach or consultant or business, and it just makes things so complicated because it's way harder to target the right people, to forward everyone to the right place. And if you have one offer including everything your ideal customer needs, you can just narrow it down to that offer. That's it. You make it so simple for you, for yourself, and also for your prospects, that it's just going to be a lot easier for you. And one other bonus tip, for example, you have a 5K offer and you have like a downsell offer of 1,000, then if the closer or yourself are in the call and someone is like not entirely sure if he was able to do the 5K because he kind of wants to think about it, but he's just at the fence right there, automatically what you're gonna do as a business owner, but also as a closer, be like, hey, you know what? We also have like this 1K offer. Might help you a bit. I've done that a lot of times, honestly. A lot of times. And there's like, oh yeah, sure, let's do that. Let's do the 1K one, right? And big chance was that you could have sold him for 5K. But you didn't because you took the easy route, and we are hardwired to take the easy route. So, one source, one offer, having and fix an infinite selling system. This is the first phase that you need to go to get out of the sales process. When we're building this entire infinite selling system and testing it and everything, you want to make sure that you record everything. Document, record everything. Why? Because if you record everything, you're gonna make sure that you build it in a way other people will understand it. And that's eventually what you want. Because if you build it like that, it's way easier to repeat it, to make it scalable for others. Because if you don't record everything, you don't document everything, and just like, yeah, I know it out of my head. And you're like, oh, now I have to teach someone. And you're like, oh my god, I don't even understand this. Like, no one is gonna understand this. You have to recreate everything, and then you can explain it to someone. So record everything, document the entire process when you're making this, so it's easier for you to make it scalable. And the other point is, if you're having this infinite selling system, you should be able to do around 40 to 80K per month. If you're not doing that, don't go to the next stage because you don't have an infinite selling system yet. If you do, let's go to the next stage. So before even thinking about hiring someone, you need to have the right environment, because the level of talent that you are going to attract inside of your business is equal to the environment you can present to your potential employees. Just think about it for a sec. When you have an offer for your potential customers, then it's logical that how better the offer is, how better the clients are going to be and how more sales you're going to make, right? Yeah. So the same counts for employees, especially sales reps. So by creating the right environment, you will attract the right talent. Very simple. So what do we need to check in order to get the right environment? Well, we have 3 things to check: the earning potential, the workload, and the guidance that's providing. The earning potential for closers should be from B2B, should be from 12 to 25K per month on track earnings. For B2C, it should be 8 to 15K per month. And for setters, it should be anywhere from 4 to 8,000 a month on track earnings. The workload for closers should be anywhere between 10 to 25 calls per week per closer. And for setters, having around 300 to 1200 leads per month per setter that they're able to call or DM. In terms of guidance, it's so important to have a proof of concept. So people that join your business already have something they can follow. They're having the right onboarding SOP, so they know how to get into the business, what to learn, what to go through to make sure they are in it before they begin. And please make sure they have the right scripts. And not like paragraphs and everything, but just like help them ask the right questions in order to set the right prospects so they can present the right solutions. After you've created the right environment, you make it known and attract the talent you're looking for. And then you're able to start the interviews. Now, before you hire, what you want to make sure is that you have at least 30 screenings. Why? Because you have no idea who is good and who isn't. And you're only able to tell that after interviewing a lot of different people. So after you've interviewed like a lot of different people, you probably have a good sense of like, okay, who is good and who isn't. And after that, you want to make sure to hire 2 people. Especially if you're ramping up the sales team for the first time, because then you have comparison. First time I hired some sales reps, I did follow this rule of 2, but I didn't do a lot of interviews, and I honestly didn't have any clue how to know if someone was good and who wasn't. So I hired 2. One was like awful, but really had nice energy, and the other one was like extremely good. So I'm very happy that we hired 2 at that moment, because otherwise your cash flow is just gonna drop, and that's just the opposite of what we want, of course. Oh. All right. Now, in this entire process, you want to keep in mind that you are taking calls yourself as well. So you do not move away out of the sales process yet. But then I need to do like 15 hours a week with my sales team and do sales calls. Then I have to work like 60 or 80 hours a week. Yes, that's correct. If you don't want to lose your cash flow, then you do have to work a little bit harder, like the first 2 to 3 weeks. After that, it's gonna be way easier. But the first 2 to 3 weeks are gonna be pretty hard, because those salespeople haven't had any proof of concept yet. So you cannot expect them to like get sales in the first 2 to 3 weeks. It's possible for sure. I mean, like my salespeople most of the time get a good sale going in the first week, but you cannot expect that. And especially, what's so important, do not depend on it. Because if you depend on it, you're gonna have emotional frustration. And with new salespeople, especially new people, you need to have the right patience. And you cannot have the right patience if you're depending on them. And besides that, indeed, like it's way easier to give them feedback on the process and what you do in those situations if you're taking sales calls yourself as well. And so many people right now in 2023 are saying that, yeah, just do some sales tricks or go to Cole Gordon or Jeremy Miner or Jordan Belfort, Cole Cardone, you know, and just follow them. That's not how it works anymore. Well, people are using it right now, but that's not how it's gonna work in 2024, 2025. It's gonna be completely different, because sales tricks are not. It's just so little. It's like the 20%. Everyone thinks that like, oh, whoa, that's the 80% that's making a difference. No, the 80% that makes a difference, and the 20% that you will teach them is your conviction, because once again, that's what people eventually will feel. And that's what you feel. That's what your close will feel. And that's what your prospects and eventually your clients will feel. And the only way to get a limitless sales team is by having a great connection with your team. And that's why it's so important to make the time for that. All right. So after ramping up your sales guys for about 3 weeks, you should be able to tell like which one is better and which one isn't. Keep the good one. If they're both good, hey, amazing, keep both. Simple as that. If they're both bad, big chance that you're doing something wrong in the sales coaching or the sales in the daily meetings. So I would look at yourself before like losing them both. All right. So after you've chosen the right one, your schedule will look like this. 5 days a week, you have your daily sales meeting, 1 hour. You have one one-on-one call with your closer. If you have two, you will have 2 one-on-one calls a week. And at the end of the day, you'll be checking the end of days and give a short video or a call based on that. So now you went from 15 hours a week to about 8 hours a week. That's already amazing, because now your close should be able to have, they should have been able to make some deals already, and you are able to start taking less calls. Because you can give your closers the calls that you will be able to, that you were supposed to do more and more and more, so that frees up your time. And now your close should be able to close anywhere between 10 to 20 deals a month if they're able to get 40 to 80 appointments per month. And at this point, you're probably making about 75 to 150k per month. All right. Now you've been keep repeating the same process over and again, like getting more salespeople and more setters, etc. And once your sales team has a good performance, performing well, and having around like 4 to 6 sales team people in total, doesn't matter if they're inbound or outbound, you have to identify your star player, the one that's performing the best, because this player is going to, just like give you an amazing help with getting your team going and just making the business so much better. So it should look a little bit like this. First, you're the owner, of course, and you are responsible for getting leads, getting prospects in there, like doing the marketing. So it's organic, outbound, affiliate, word of mouth, or paid advertising, or owned media. Doesn't matter, but you need to get leads in. The setters will convert those leads into qualified appointments and make sure the closers are able to do that. I was a bit distracted by missing an arrow here, but all right. So the appointments will go to the closers, and the closers will take on the calls to make sales, of course. That's all clear. Now you're gonna identify your star player who is going to help you with the onboarding and coaching of new sales reps. So it's very important. It's not a sales manager yet. It will be a player coach. So most of his income will come through from the sales calls itself. But he will support you into ramping up the other sales reps. So I would recommend giving him like a small base, like 15 to 3k per month, just so he feels like it's worth it to get this position, and most likely you frame it towards him being a future sales manager. So if you're choosing the right sales rep, it's so important to choose this person for the long term, because first it was your energy going towards your sales team. Now it's going to change, it's bringing your energy towards the player coach, towards your sales star player, and then from the star player towards the sales team. Not always, but most of the time. So choose someone where you align with on the long term. Choose someone what aligns with your core values, with your mission, vision, and you believe has the right energy for a sales team to be driven by because of him or her. Now, at this point, you should be able to do around like 300 to 500k per month, and should be doable with around 5-ish hours a week. Firmly just focus on the daily meeting. So 5 days a week, 1 hour daily meeting, you will focus on that. Probably check the end of day reports as well. So 5-6 hours a week should be doable if you have a player coach, so a star player. Once you've gone through all of the stages, it's time for the next stage, and that is having a sales manager. So what you're gonna do is make from the star player your sales manager. And this especially occurs when you have around 7 to 8 sales reps, but honestly, it kind of depends on like how complicated your business is. So at the moment that you believe it's more valuable for your player coach to just coach all of the other sales reps, and you're doing anywhere in the between 300 to 500k per month, might even be a little bit more, then you're able to put the sales player coach, star player out of it and just let him be a sales manager. Yeah, about the salary, what you want to do is let him train everyone full time and he gets a full time salary. He should be able to get a base of like 8k or something like that. And if the team is on track, he should be making a little bit less than what he was making as a full time rep, because he is not taking any calls anymore, so he has more a stable income. It will be worth it for him. So if he was making 50k a month, for example, then like making 14k per month when the team is on track, it should be good. And having him have him have a little bit more downside if the team is doing bad, and a little bit more upside if the team is doing well. So just a small note for transparency, I'm not at this phase yet myself. I'm still doing the sales management myself, but I do know like how to get there in terms of insights from other people and from mentors. So one of the things that is important is that if you're putting a sales manager down, that you do not hop off the daily meetings immediately. That's one of the tips I've gotten, is that what you want to do is like transition out of it time day by day. So for example, for the first time, you will give your sales manager the Friday, so you can do the daily meeting on that, and then the Wednesday, etc., etc. And I've got the advice to be and do the sales meetings yourself as long as possible, because the sales department is like the only department in your entire company that really like takes the customer's money. So it's a really high leverage thing to do, to stay connected with your sales department and make sure they're doing good and you are translating like the mission, vision and values towards the sales team and still bringing your energy over to them. If you at some point have a sales manager in place that's so good and so close to you, and you just know and feel that he is able to do a better job than you are, then I believe it will be a good time to transition out of it completely, and you can just do like every first Monday of the month with your sales team. Once again, this is what I've gotten and learned. All right, so this is how you remove yourself step by step from the sales process. Is it simple? Yeah, kind of. Is it easy? No way. Because it just takes a lot of time and patience in order for you to get there. To get through it, it just takes a lot of time. But honestly, it will be worth it for sure. So if you have any questions about the different phases or want to know more, hit me up. I'm here to help out. And I believe you've gotten a lot of value out of it. And let's stay connected.